This is whisper number 7. I actually skipped a day or so from the last time I made one, primarily because a friend of mine came down from about, he's not real far away, about 130 miles, but he only makes it down about every 2 months. Excuse me. And it was exceptionally warm here in the Midwest. It was around 80 degrees yesterday and today. So we went out to the lakes. Actually, we hit 2 or 3 different lakes. Built a campfire. Had a few beers. And had a pretty good time. We spent the night here with my family and then headed back home this morning. I think I'm going to talk about, first off, some of the suffering that's going on in this world right now. It's kind of a serious subject. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but I was doing schoolwork the other day, and one of my classes is nutrition. And it was particularly talking about enough nutrition for pregnant women and their babies, their fetuses. And it was really sad because it said that 1 in 20 women in Africa will die during pregnancy or childbirth, and obviously the infant would die as well. And a large reason behind this is because of malnutrition. To compare, only 1 in 8,000 women in North America die in childbirth or pregnancy-related deaths. It's just amazing how unfair, how unequal the world is between developed and underdeveloped countries. Of course, there is suffering in developed countries as well. Poverty and they say people are starving. I'm not going to say nobody's starving in the United States, but they might not be getting all the nutrition they need, but there are a lot of programs. And that's controversial, so I'm not going to stay into that too long, but I feel bad for these people. You can't help where you're born. The average person can't do anything about the government, especially in countries where there's not a democracy. So, I really wish there was more I could do for people like that. I mean, I don't really have enough money to, donate to charity. I can't go and join the Peace Corps, go to these places. I actually do have a family that lives next to me that are missionaries. I moved about 3 or 4 months ago, and I've yet to see them actually leave to go anywhere. But I gotta commend them for that. Maybe they just do it in the summertime or when the kids are out of school or whatever, but that's to help your fellow man. That's what it's about, or what it should be about. To serve your neighbor or serve somebody across the world. It's just amazing. Alright, a little lighter subject. The last time I said I was going to talk about a little bit of my hobbies. I think I'll talk about that for a few minutes. Well, this whispering is obviously one of my newest hobbies. And it actually relaxes me, so if I'm relaxing you, that's great, but I'm also helping myself. So, we're both getting something out of it. But another hobby I just started since I moved, is growing vegetable plants indoors. I have 3 plant lights, two are actual grow lights. They're what they call a daylight. It's actually a little miniature fluorescent, the ones that you can plug, screw directly into your outlets in your rooms. But it is the most natural, or the closest to the natural sunlight you can get in a bulb. So it works well for plants that are not flowering. And I've tried a variety of things to grow. So far I've grown lettuce, and that's leaf lettuce, not head lettuce. I have carrots growing. Well, the lettuce is already done, and I tried it in a couple containers, and it's a little too sour for me, so I didn't actually eat it. The carrots aren't quite ready yet. I do have green peppers as well as cayenne peppers growing. I bought some seeds of a dwarf roam-up tomato plants. They're not doing very well. I've grown regular tomato plants in a pot that grew almost 5 feet tall, and it produced a couple tomatoes. And this variety that's made to grow in a pot, they're only about 2 inches tall and losing their leaves already. I mean, they're not quite dead yet, but they're not doing real well. Another thing I grew, is growing fairly well, is some form of a tree. Most of my seeds I have actually taken out of the fruits and vegetables, and then I put them in the refrigerator for a few months to allow them to go through their dormant hibernation cycle that most seeds go through naturally in the winter. That seed I found outside, and I didn't really think it was going to grow, but it did. I have it in a quart jar, and if I really believed that it was really going to grow as well as it has, I would have put it in a large pot. So I don't know what to do. It's about, it's probably 5 inches tall. It's definitely sprouting at the top real well. It's only a matter of time before it's going to die, though, in the limited root area it has. I'm kind of hoping that it does grow real thick roots in there, that I might be able to break the jar carefully, and then I could repot it. I'm not really sure what type of tree it is. I don't know anything about growing trees from seeds. But the other thing that I'm growing that I'm most proud of is a pumpkin plant. Yes, all the research I've done says that they won't grow in a pot, but this one has been. I've been pruning it a lot because it's had some leaves die or come close to it, and then about 10 different flowers opened up on it. And I went through, I don't know if this is a cycle, I didn't read this, but the flowers had stems about a foot long that came out the top, and they'd flower for about a day or so and then wither. I had at least 10 flowers. But obviously, if I had any hope of growing a pumpkin, it has to pollinate, and I was willing to. I've taken actually about a dozen pollen samples on Q-tips to use to pollinate the female plants, the female flowers, but none have survived so far. And now it's seemed like another cycle where it's growing leaves again real well. And last night, it finally fell over. It was growing straight up, and I didn't know if it had something to do with the pruning or the fact that it was in a pot. It was reaching for my artificial light directly above it. But now it fell over, and it actually looks like a vine now. So I'm gonna keep my baby going as long as I can. I mean, I don't really think I'm gonna get a pumpkin, but I'd like to actually see how long I can keep it alive. With this, I suppose I should close. I will probably talk about more hobbies in the future.